Hello guys, my name is Jeff, and this is a 1991 Land Rover Defender 110 Resto Mod. In 2017, this Defender was completely stripped apart, upgraded, and put back together with new parts by Arkonik, a company out of Somerset, England, and then it was shipped here to the United States. But in 2020, this Land Rover was upgraded yet again with over $57,000 in new parts, including an LS3 6.2-liter V8, which now sits under the hood. But that's not even the best part. This vehicle is actually for sale. It's heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer and will be selling with no reserve as offered from Casio Motors. And in this video, I'll take you through the exterior, the interior, the powertrain, and of course, we'll take it for a drive. First, a bit of background. Arkonik has been reimagining Defenders since 2007 out of Somerset, England. The process starts with Arkonik sourcing a suitable and structurally sound Land Rover Defender for the project. The vehicle is stripped apart and placed on a custom jig where it is etch-primed and treated for longevity. The reassembling starts with the drivetrain components, which are extensively rebuilt, although this one now features a brand new General Motors LS3 crate engine. Then a brand new suspension system is installed, along with steering components, a complete fuel system, brakes, and brand new panels are fitted, finished in the customer specifications. Then that is followed by the complete new interior with soundproofing, rubber seals, carpeting throughout, hardware, and brand new electrics, which is then shaken down through a 5-step quality control process and over 250 miles before it is then delivered to the customer. The appearance for this 1991 Arkonik build is how it was delivered in 2017. However, in 2020, over $57,000 were invested to swap the motor and transmission, along with all of the necessary upgrades such as the suspension, brakes, wiring, and cooling to build a better Defender, with receipts which will be included in the sale. So moving on to the exterior, this one has been finished in black since its restoration in 2017 by Arkonik, but has also been upgraded in a variety of ways, and even more upgraded in 2020 with all of those various features that were added, included some Fox shocks that I'll show you in a sec. Now this, of course, still has the retro styling of the Defender 110, which is that boxy goodness that everybody loves, but obviously the restoration, now everything is in phenomenal shape. You can see the quality of the paint job that's on here. Everything is basically brand new on this truck, including, as I mentioned earlier, the restoration process and just how much effort Arkonik goes through, even refinishing brand new panels that go on this truck. Now, let's take a look at it. Obviously, we can start by checking out some of what's underneath. I believe this is a 2-inch lift, and you can see here that, of course, this thing is still 4-wheel drive. You can see our front differential, but some of the upgrades include these massive Wilwood disc brakes, which will help bring this thing to a stop, especially with all that power under the hood from that LS3 V8. It's very boxy and good. You can see the lights up here in front. We have our Defender badging also in black, fairly aggressive. We have the sort of stainless steel appearance, these vents that have been installed, nice fender flares. And then down here, we can see some of our coil spring suspension. But below that, we have these 18-inch con wheels, which are wrapped in BF Goodrich all-terrain KO2 tires. So these have fairly good sidewall protection and lots of tread left. So you could definitely use these, drive it on the road, take it off-road, whatever you like. Behind that, you do see some mud flaps here, including a side step to help you get in because this truck is fairly tall, and that's for good reason. You can see here that the 110 has a fairly short overhang in the front and the rear, which gives it very good approach and departure angles and even breakover angles to make it a fantastic off-roader or just a fun vehicle to drive around the city. You can see we do have our wipers here in the front, mirrors on both sides, of course. You have these sort of safari windows on the side. All of the glass is tinted now. That will help keep some of the heat out and your privacy. You can see 4 doors here because it is a 110. And as we come to the back, similar 18-inch wheels, more Wilwood disc brakes, 6-piston in the front, 4-piston in the rear. You can see the Fox shocks I mentioned earlier, coil springs again, and even some of the exhaust system for that LS3 V8. We have some of the stainless steel side plate protecting, so this is going to help protect your paint job from any brush or anything that might get in the way there. More mud guards in the back, and even the filler for our gas tank.
As we come around to the backpack, you can see we have a full-size spare tire carrier, so this will come in handy if something happens while you're off-roading, or maybe even just taking it somewhere. You have a badge here from Arkonik reminding you it's built in Somerset, England. Our Land Rover badging, more updated lighting, which has that very cool Euro-style clear finish. Note the rear end, you can see the axles again, and even the back of the gas tank, sway bars, etc. And of course, a plate from Casio Motors, because this vehicle is going to be selling with no reserve. More Defender badging. You can even see the rear defrosters, wipers, etc. This is a beautiful vehicle, which of course is the recipient of a restoration and even more work done in 2020 to update it and just make it that much better of a Land Rover. So moving on to the interior, if we open it up, this is absolutely a Land Rover Defender 110, but it's been upgraded for an improved quality of life. It still has that fantastic Land Rover high-up seating position so that you have great visibility while off-roading. Some of the biggest changes are going to be the fact that this has 3 rows of seating. You'll note that this can actually seat a total of 6 people, and we have these nice and plushy seats now inside. They're finished in black, and you can note that they had this red and white stitching theme that is sort of quilted, and we'll see that throughout the interior, especially here in the center console, which does have a lockbox, and you can even see the cup holders, the stitch boot, and if we take a look at the doors, we have that same pattern in here, manual windows, and some other cool upgrades that I'll get to in a sec. But first, let me show you the back. If we open up the rear doors, we get access to the second row, which the second row has a similar center console setup. You can see that same stitching pattern, cup holders, similar seats, a bit narrower, and you can actually fit adults here in the second row. I'm 6 foot even, and I can fit in here without my head touching the roof. But for the third row, you'll have a harder time fitting taller adults and maybe better suited to children, or you can just fold it down entirely and use it as storage space. You might have also noted the various lighting throughout and even the JL audio system, which has been installed to improve the music experience in this Defender. Now, let's move back up into the front of the truck and see what else we have going on. The most important update here is going to be right here. This is actually an air conditioning system, which has been installed, fan speed, and the temperature controls here. And you can see these vents actually run all the way across the front. And so this will keep you nice and cool, regardless of where you're driving. We also have some other cool features. Some of the various lighting switches that are available, including your hazard switches, are easily available there. You can see the Land Rover steering wheel is the same, but here we actually have Dakota digital gauges, which is a very cool addition that currently reads 1,532 miles. Then if we take a look at the center here, we can actually see that we have a Pioneer head unit that'll run through that JL audio system. And then below that, there are a few chargers, some of the window adjustments, and we can even see our handbrake. We have our shifter for our automatic transmission, and even some of our 4-wheel drive controls here next to that automatic shifter. On the passenger side, you get some storage, some more vents, pretty stereotypical here. It's a fairly simple interior, but it's been updated in the ways that count, so it has everything you need and nothing you don't. Under the hood here is a brand new General Motors crate engine. This is an LS3 6.2-liter V8 producing 525 horsepower, which is paired with a 6L80 6-speed automatic transmission and a transfer case for 4-wheel drive, which was rebuilt in 2020 along with all of the other various upgrades when this engine was installed to handle the power. For example, if we take a look at the front here, you can see this aluminum radiator, which has these massive electric fans. Note the power steering, alternator, there's air conditioning, and even this massive brake booster over here for those Wilwood disc brakes. So this thing has clearly been upgraded to handle all the power and stop as it needs to, but this engine will get you anywhere you need to go, whether it's uphill or even off-road, and it has a very, very healthy idle. Take a listen. So what's it like to drive this Land Rover Defender 110? Well, it's quite nice. You see, the Defender 110 has its roots as a work truck, a farm vehicle that might have been occasionally taken off-road. But what Arkonik has done here, and some of the other later mods that have been applied to this truck, is they've made it a more livable, daily drivable experience. So now you can take this wherever you want. And now with its new heartbeat, that 6.2-liter LS3 producing 525 horsepower, you won't ever notice any shortage of power wherever you decide to take this thing, whether it's off-road or just take it somewhere on the road. Now, on top of that, the suspension's been improved. Obviously, Fox shocks are always a welcomed luxury in any suspension kit for an off-road vehicle. And you even have all of the plush luxury that you get with these new seats, which are quite comfortable here in this Land Rover. And obviously, that's going to be for all 3 rows. The other cool thing is you still have all the appeal of a Defender. You have this high-up seating, which is very traditional for Land Rovers. It'll help you for looking when you're off-roading, and it gives you a nice sort of power-hungry feel as you sit at the top here. The Dakota digital gauges are easy to read, and they're definitely a welcomed addition. Obviously, the sound system will make any longer road trips or drives that much easier, and it's just a nice experience. The V8 sounds pretty good too, and it's just a nice vehicle to tote around in that'll have no problem with rough roads, whether that is you live in a snowy area with potholes, speed bumps, or even taking it off-road. And that's really where this thing just kind of shines. And it's a nice example of a new Defender as opposed to an old used one, where this one has essentially been completely disassembled, rebuilt, and re-engineered to some extent. So that's a quick look at this 110 Defender. So there is a quick look at this 1991 Land Rover Defender Resto Mod. Initially built by Arkonik in 2017, then updated with a mighty LS3 6.2-liter V8. It's 4-wheel drive and features lots of modern amenities. But that's not all, as this thing is for sale. It's heading up for auction on Bring a Trailer and will be selling with no reserve as offered from Casio Motors. So with that, that's going to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed it and could leave me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it, and consider getting subscribed. More content like this in the future. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.